Facebook as well. All right, so hello everybody. Thanks for joining. This is another webinar, and this will be amazing as usual because today we are here with Nicholas Meyers, who is founder of an agency based in UK called FF Brands. And what these guys do? They help e-commerce stores to basically sell more. Am I saying it right?
Yes, in a sense, we take on brands from Europe and outside of Europe, and we build e-commerce stores in-house to develop the brands in the UK market, because it's a very different market for every brand to come into the UK. So yes.
All right, and thanks a lot for the clarification. And the reason why we are here is simple, because in next week, in fact in 4 days, we're launching ZapERP, which is an amazing tool for everybody who is doing e-commerce. So we'll be teaching you more about ZapERP, but this webinar will be mostly about e-commerce in general. I want to hear everything about your story. I want to know how you started. Why did you choose outdoor brands in specific? And basically, I want to know your whole story, including how did you get into ZapERP as well. So Nicholas, please, if you could just introduce yourself a little here, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so my name's Nicholas Meyers. I'm the co-founder of FF Brands, and I'm 24 years old, really. And it's been a huge journey for me to learn from some of the top retailers, to understand what they do, and it's taught me, it's opened my eyes. I first started my online retail business when I was 18 through eBay. I started a website, and it was in fishing gear, because I knew people in the fishing game. I knew the wholesaler, and that's how we got started. So we got huge discounts off the retail, the wholesaler, and we then sold it on eBay, on our website. We were doing a good amount of turnover. Not millions, but enough to survive, enough to pay staff. So it was a fantastic journey. And then, sometimes we fail. And, I made one big mistake, and I went into the wholesale market.
Okay.
And that was a huge mistake. So, from swapping to retail to go to wholesale, I would never advise it. I would always, make sure you stay in the retail, because obviously the bigger margins and a better service, and also wholesale's dying. In certain industries, in a sense, selling direct to other retailers. So yeah, we jumped into that area. We put a lot of money into it, and we lost everything. And when I mean everything,
so you were building everything from scratch, and then you decided to go to wholesale, and it all went down.
Yeah. All went. So that was the start of my real business journey. I've always been playing about when I was younger with business, computers, technology. I was always interested in that. So that was a start. I then got a job as a buyer for a big fishing retailer, and they liked me because obviously they knew what I was doing. The owners really impressed with what I've done so far. Even though I failed, he was really impressed. And so I worked there for about 3 months, and I just learned so many things about the buying, the way things are done with suppliers, and that brought me back to owning my own business again. So it's been a real good journey. I've met a lot of people, met different businesses, and different retailers.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we first started FF Brands, it wasn't originally called FF Brands. We called ourselves Keep On Outdoors. So we went back into the retail market to sell other people's products.
I see.
And we found Kilpie, which was the first brand we took on. And we found them. We thought it's an amazing product. They didn't market themselves really good, though. At first, I thought it was a cheap product to add on to Keep On Outdoors. I thought, yes, great, another supplier, just more sales. But when they came over, they had a fantastic product. I mean, the quality, the technology they used in the products. And I thought this is a massive opportunity. And it was in ski gear, running, cycling, and that's our journey. And we then built the website. I had to get everything together, and all the money I could get together to build it. And we got there, and we built the first website about 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And since then we've started building FF brands. So we came out the retail market, came into the brand. So we were becoming basically FF brands, takes on brands, and we invest like with a brand. So that's the way we portray ourselves. We say, well, we want to be your brand in the UK.
Perfect.
So
I understand.
you really understand the way brands work, and to really understand how, and to give them insurance, basically saying, look, we're here. We're not just trying to flog your product. We're trying to build a relationship. We're trying to build your brand over the next 5 to 10 years, not to try and get the fastest sales out of it. And the best way for the UK, especially UK and US, is to sell direct to the customer. Direct to the customer is the best way. So
I can see that definitely I'm on point with our title today, which is seasoned entrepreneur, e-commerce entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now, Nicholas, this is an amazing story, and I would like to know, how did you got involved with ZapERP? And I see people are joining. They're asking, what is ZapERP? It looks great. Will it come as a lifetime deal? Yes, it will come as a lifetime deal. But Nicholas, first of all, how did you got involved with ZapERP?
So with our e-commerce, we need a good inventory control system. And there's a lot of inventory control systems out there. We're just having headaches. They weren't doing what they're supposed to do. They didn't upgrade to the latest version. And that's when I came across ZapERP. So I saw it. I thought, oh, let's just try it out. Let's just see how it goes. The website wasn't great, but I thought, let's just see how it goes. Anyway, I got in touch with the owner. Well, I signed up for a trial. The owner got in touch with me, and we had a few chats and started discussing what I did, what he did, and over time we formed a partnership, basically, because the skill set I could bring to the software, it's a huge amount, and this experience he has as the owner, Nickel, as a developer, and his team is amazing. And putting that together just made sense for me and Nickel. It really made sense. I'm not a developer. I understand development, but I'm not a developer myself. But understanding e-commerce and the way e-retailers think, and the way what the software they need, that needs to be the latest version with like Magento and stuff, and other inventory softwares weren't there. And that's what I said to Nickel. I said, this is what we need to do. We need to change our software and really point it towards e-commerce software. So we really support them small, medium retailers who are trying to, either from the startups, from someone who is trying to start up but don't want to pay a lot of money for software, or want a decent piece of software that's actually going to help them grow to the next level. And that's what our software does. It's really into it really goes into that, and that I can bring that skill set from my e-commerce understanding, and that's how I got involved with ZapERP.
And I mean, you brought a lot of experience as well, because you were selling on eBay. I'm pretty sure that a lot of other e-commerce platforms out there, which is actually the core of ZapERP, right? So if you could say in a few sentences, what exactly is ZapERP for all people who are asking right now, which is amazing. A lot of people are watching.
Fantastic. So I'm glad so many people are asking, seeing what it is. And ZapERP is changing to an e-commerce platform with third-party extensions as well. So we support we're going to start supporting a lot of third-party extensions. For example, like, marketplaces such as eBay, Amazon and Flipkart, really core into supporting the e-commerce entrepreneurs, really.
I see. Okay, here's a question, and I think it's a good to answer it now, even though that usually we answer in the end. But the question is, I thought ZapERP is an ERP solution, but it's an e-commerce tool. Why it use ERP name?
So before we joined Nickel, before I joined, it was called ZapERP. And we said, look, an ERP system is a lot more than what we're trying to build. And when I did join, he had an inbuilt account system and stuff like that. And what we did when we had our big meeting discussing what we're going to turn it into, we're actually going to change the name to Zap Inventory, because ZapERP is too much. It's not the core. It makes us concentrate. And that's what we said to Nickel. And we agreed that we would change it to Zap Inventory to really actually bring down the focus. And instead of building all these little extensions, we connect to all these extensions I built to bring the best in the software.
I see. All right. So I know that as you were running multiple stores, you for sure came to some problems that you would use ZapERP this current tool you are building to solve these problems. So if you could give us insight, what are these main problems that you can solve with ZapERP for e-commerce users, somebody who's running maybe small store or big store? Like, what are these main use cases?
So the main ones, if you're not using Shopify, for example, and you're using Magento, you want a piece of software that's always going to be up to date with the latest version of Magento, PrestaShop, OpenCart. And that's one thing that Zap Inventory, ZapERP is going to do, is when it always support the latest version. So when these, e-commerce entrepreneurs upgrade, that the system that you're using to manage their inventory is done. And that's a challenge I have always faced, is we wanted to upgrade the latest version due to security, due to new features that are going to improve the user experience and sales. The second thing is managing an inventory in the correct way is the biggest thing if you carry inventory, you need to make sure that you look after the numbers, you make sure that your stock is always correct. And there's a lot of software out there when you do stock take, it's not right, it's not always 100% correct, it doesn't always upgrade to your channels in the correct way, and that's one thing that's going to be resolved with ZapERP. And the next feature is pick, pack and ship. So streamlining, you want your warehouse to work the fastest it can to pick and pack and ship your products. And as an e-commerce person, we have a warehouse team, and we have faced challenges where the warehouse has gone slow because it hasn't got the correct tools to get a product, scan the product, and send it out all automated as much as it can. And that's what we built in ZapERP, is that we built a full-scale pick, pack, and ship. So you scan your ship, and it label comes out, and it goes. So they're the four things I'd say you need to, when you start an online e-store, make sure you've got some software back to really back you. Otherwise, if you've got a great product or great products and you get a growth in sales and you haven't got that infrastructure in you're going to fail. It will crush you.
Mm-hmm. Another question. So it doesn't have HR module like normal ERP?
No. And we have, we knew this was going to be a problem with the ERP in the name. We've taken a lot of modules away because we wanted to really focus on the entrepreneur e-commerce channels and really focus our product. Otherwise, we're building a product and it's not really built properly because we're focusing on so many things.
Okay. Now I have a question about the challenges that you were helping to solve. From your experience when you were running your e-commerce stores, have you ever experienced that you shipped, for example, an item which wasn't in stock only because that you didn't have all the processes and softwares in place?
Yes. Last year, we launched our first proper winter and it went dreadful. We lost so much money due to not having a right system. We had a refund, money to customers because we didn't have a process in place properly to manage the sales, to manage the stock, because the software we had let us down, and it caused a big problem. And we have shipped products. We told customers, yeah, it's in stock because the software says it's in stock because the warehouse bit is not updated, and it caused a big problem. Just to give you the figures, we had to refund £40,000 in 1 month.
No way.
Because of this problem.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it was on Christmas, right?
It was just after Christmas.
After Christmas, because I can imagine that it would hurt even more on Christmas because people are buying all the gifts and presents for their family and friends, and then it wouldn't arrive. It wouldn't be good, actually.
Yeah, we had a few problems like that where customers were very unhappy, and it nearly ruined us. Because when you're obviously doing an e-commerce store, it's not just about selling a product, it's about looking after your customer and genuinely looking after your customer, making sure that you are taking care of all your customers in the best possible way.
So this is the question. What is the size of, if I'm starting out just an e-commerce store, do I actually need software like this? Or is it only for people who are scaling, who are growing?
It's a good question because some people say yes, some people say no.
What do you say?
I would always recommend a piece of software but don't go for the top package if you don't need it. The reason why I recommend, if you store inventory, you just want to make sure that you have the right amount, because one day you could be so busy that you don't have time to update your manual spreadsheets, manual stock, because you've got an influx of sales. Now, if you have a small piece of inventory software that doesn't take a lot of money to a monthly cost, then I would always advise getting a piece of software, and it's like having another person there, because you don't have to print all the labels manual. You don't have to do this. For example, there's one of my friends. He runs a e-commerce store. He started off small, 10 items a day, 20 items a day. He's growing now, and I see him. Before I got involved with ZapERP, I see him literally printing off, copy paste into Royal Mail the address.
Oh my God.
And this is a problem. And and people don't realize, it might be 2 hours of your time, but you could actually slim that down in 15 minutes. So then you've got an hour and 45 minutes to do the marketing, to look after your customers. So the piece of software, yes, it might cost some money, but always invest, because you're actually saving money in the long term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask, because I know that fulfilling orders and managing all the orders that they are shipped on time and handled on time, it's really a time-consuming thing. And is that something that ZapERP can help me with?
Of course, and getting involved with ZapERP was a really big step for me. I've loved software for a long time, and it was really exciting to join them, because it actually meant, as an e-commerce store owner, I can get involved with a piece of software to really not just help myself, but also help other young entrepreneurs, or however how old you are. If you're starting an e-commerce store, you just want that piece of software that really helps you improve in the processes, in shipping and everything like that. And that's why I was excited to join them. And and as an e-commerce store owner, I'm pleased that we've finally got a piece of software that saves us time, and actually we don't have to refund £40,000 in 1 month.
That hurts. I mean, even your payment provider doesn't like you anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me, how does the whole order fulfillment process work in ZapERP?
So
I receive order. What happens now?
Yeah. So for example, I'll use a Magento. So we get an order from Magento. It then goes into the sales funnel, and it says, what it does is it says in stock, out of stock. And what that does is meaning, so you can see your out of stock products. So you can say, yes, because your warehouse, for example, the warehouse might send the stock to, the supplier might send you the stock. You might be running 2 warehouses, one virtual and one real. And if your website supports that, it's great. And out of stock was basically put it to back order, so you get your stock in, so you know exactly what to order. And then the in stock tab is the products that they'll highlight green for items that are ready to be shipped based on your. Then you have the pick, pack and ship module, and that will do basically when your orders come in. Let's say you pack at 2 o'clock, you select them all, you press select all, and you press print all. And what it does, it prints the picking sheets, and it has barcodes on each sheet. So you go around with the warehouse, you say, okay, it's in bin B7. You go to bin B7, pick your item, put it in the basket. Once you come back with all your baskets, then you go to the warehouse, scan your piece of, scan the pick sheet, pulls up the order, scan your order, press finish, and it ships. Depending on the integration you have, it sends the shipping information, brings the information, prints the label, and then it pushes back to the customer and gives the customer an email saying your item has been shipped. So it's a really simple process. We are improving it again with a mobile version, because obviously mobile is a very key thing. But first we wanted to get the core thing working.
Yes.
And generally, and I'm not just saying this, obviously I'm the owner of software as well, but it generally helps you run a smooth warehouse and a smooth customer service operation, because you can see every part of the operation.
And I think there's not only advantage that it's faster, but also it removes the mistakes people can make when they're copying it manually, or everything what is done manually, there can be a mistake, right?
Yes.
So this removes this problem, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that's another reason why, going back to your question before, should I have one? Yes, because you can make mistakes without one.
Yeah. All right. Now, I can imagine that if something runs out of stock, I don't have it. I don't want to have it on my website. I don't want this product to be shown, or at least I want to show that, hey, this product is out of stock. So can ZapERP do this for me as well? That I will connect Magento or Shopify, and then it will be automatically updated?
Yeah, so that's a core feature that, it has to be a core feature. We want to be e-commerce software, inventory software provider. So once you get your stock, it's all booked in, it's all processed. All your channels will get updated with the stock, with what you have just received or what you've got in your warehouse. And if you get a sale order from Amazon or an eBay and you've got a website, then updates that stock as well, because otherwise your inventory won't be synced. Again, if you sell your product on Amazon and eBay, you've only got two, and you've sold the two one on Amazon, one on eBay, but it doesn't update your e-commerce store. Again, it's not providing that, quality customer service to your customer. It's not looking after your customer. So yes.
Now I can imagine that if there are some huge sale, I don't know, Black Friday, Christmas, after Christmas, like these seasons that are really difficult to handle, how fast is ZapERP actually? Because something can come from Amazon, something from eBay, something from our main store. So is it real time, or how often is it updated?
It can, I believe it's on a 15-minute cycle, because real time takes a lot of effort. We will probably, for small stores, I believe it's on, instant. But for, more stores, and the more stores and orders you take, it's on a 15-minute cycle. But we're improving that with the server changes that we've done to make sure that we can provide the fastest way to solve all your stock issues and inventory updatings, order updatings, and stuff like that. So it's instant.
All right. You mentioned that processes should be in place when you want to grow, when you want to scale. So can you name like these processes, what should be in place before you start, I don't know, you onboard investor and you start spending way too much money on ads before you can actually?
Yeah, so it's not just about the inventory control. It's about having every other process involved that's going to build your e-commerce store. The big one I'd say is make sure you have someone who can handle customer service. If you're expecting an increase in sales, make sure you can offer that customer service. That's live chat or, email support, but within the working hours, supply them with a 2-hour answer. And if you can, it's a big one, and it is phone support. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. So last year I did phone support, but we had to unfortunately turn the phone number off because we were getting so many calls, and I was spending the time on the calls while the customer service guy was spending the time on emails and live chat. So, that's the first thing I'd always make sure you process and have involved. Make sure you have your data correct. Make sure you have your spreadsheets laid out correctly so that you can, when you want to update prices, if you want to update the categories, via spreadsheets, make sure that is correct. So we've split every single collection out. So if we know it's in that collection, we just want to update the whole category range, or you want to update all the prices to discount them, we can do it within 5 minutes because we've now separated them all out. And also, the other thing is make sure you get a piece of software like ZapERP or any others that integrate to account software. The biggest headache is accounts. Because if you do not look after your accounts, you don't know what you're spending, you don't know what's your income, you don't know where can I invest, you don't know your profit and loss. And again, pushing that sales data and purchase information to your accounts package gives you real insight into your business, and make sure you have to understand your numbers in the business to grow.
So customer service data should be correct, and account software.
Yeah, and warehouse, maybe warehouse as well. Make sure your warehouse is set up.
What does it mean?
So it doesn't have to be perfect, because we've changed our warehouse 4 times, the layout because we learn different things as we go along, as we grow bigger. But make sure when you get your products, it's in different bin locations. If you've got a small room, it doesn't matter. Try and put everything in bin location. So when you come into the pick, pack and ship stage, you can just pick, pack and ship, literally pick, pack and ship instead of going around for 10 minutes trying to find a product. And it's happened to us again last year when we didn't have the full process involved. You know, one guy was running around the room trying to look for products to ship and it's inefficient. It costs time. You have to pay that member of staff that time, and that person could be doing a lot more.
That's true. Warehouse. That's a really good tip. I mean, it doesn't really apply for dropshippers. No, because it's not really your problem because it's handled by somebody else. Yeah. But for regular e-commerce stores who have warehouses, it totally makes sense. All right. So there is something I want to ask because you mentioned the data should be correct. Now in ZapERP, there is something which is called two-way sync, right? That I can do it I can either change the things on my website directly, or I can do it from ZapERP, right?
The two-way sync is not for the product change, because if you wanted to change, for example, all your product information, and for example, our Magento store, it's very complicated. The product setup in a way is straightforward for us, but for a piece of software to handle that, and then to handle Amazon's attributes, because it's all about the attributes, and to handle eBay attributes, it is very difficult to handle at the moment. However, this is a tool we're trying to do that includes into the software that you can manage everything from your inventory control. That is our main aim, is to actually control everything from the software itself, so you don't have to touch your e-commerce store.
I see. All right. We have a great question. In your experience in e-commerce, what's the biggest challenge you've seen? And before you will answer, guys, if you have any questions related to Ecom or ZapERP, let us know in the chat, because right now you have an exclusive option, exclusive opportunity to ask seasoned entrepreneur Nicholas here. So make sure that you will ask. So the question once again, in your experience, what is the biggest challenge you've seen in Ecom for you?
I don't know how to start. There's so many challenges. Every day you feel like hitting your head against the wall because there's so many challenges. One challenge we do face is running an e-commerce store is actually, now we've got the other processes solved, is actually marketing. It's a big problem, because obviously if you don't market, you don't use Google AdWords, you don't use Facebook campaigns properly, you don't use email campaigns properly, you're going to lose customers, or you're not going to get any customers. And we've recently took on a marketing guy, and he's started doing our email. So like I said, branding cart, browse abandonment, welcome series. So we don't, when we send a welcome email, we don't sell a product, we sell the brand.
Yes.
And that's improved our sales. And when I'm going about marketing, I mean, making sure you've got a right agency to market your product, because there's a lot of agencies out there that say they're good, but they're not. And
how would you choose the right one?
What we did and what I learned was to get a presentation of about 4 marketing agencies. And in that presentation, they should really go deeply down in what they can do and showcase what they can do. This is showcasing me in Google Ads, how they split down the products, how they can manipulate Google AdWords into making sure you are bidding less. And they should be able to showcase that to you. And we had 4 presentations. I remember this. We had 4 presentations. One of the agencies didn't do that. They just gave a presentation saying this is what we can do, but they couldn't prove it. So they were straight off my list, because in my experience, and I was told, and I've learned, the less you pay, the worse they probably are. The more you pay, the better they probably are.
So what do you think is like the price point when you're considering them that they are good? Because I can imagine that if somebody will say you, hey, I will manage your Facebook ads for $500 per month, that's not something that you might consider, right?
Yeah, and also we have had ones where they said, okay, it's $1,500 a month, and they're still not done a good job. So, it's a very difficult situation. But the one thing I would get is a presentation to show that they need to showcase that they can do your brand. They can do what what they say. then look at the price. So we've had one agency charges $2,500 a month, and they're very good. They're very good at what they do. And that's why they charge a lot of money, but they're very good at what they do. They showcased every point of what they could do for our brand, and they've done it extremely well.
And I mean, if agency have a good case studies, you should still choose the agency which has case studies from your niche, right? Because there are a lot of jack of all trade agencies that 1 week they're doing app promotion, then they're doing affiliate marketing, then they're doing, I don't know, local store, and everything is completely different. Like every vertical is completely different. So I mean, there are a lot of e-com agencies or freelancers, consultants, people like this that you can talk to. Now, how would you measure when the agency or consultant or someone who you work with is doing a good job? Like, what is the threshold when you say, all right, these guys know their stuff?
So we look at how much we're spending. We look at what we're getting in return. We're looking at our conversion rate value. Analyze all that. Then we can analyze what's best. So on the emails, you know, if it doesn't really cost us a lot to set them emails up, but if we're getting, you know, extra money through that, then to me, that's a good job. Because without that emails, you would have got nothing. So even if you retain one customer, it's a good job. Then you improve it again, right? So we've got one customer. Now our aim is, let's get 10 customers back through email. Then that's a good job. Through agencies and through, you know, Google and Facebook, they need to make sure, for me to be able to say it's a good job, they need to make sure they understand your keywords, not putting brands in there. There's no point in competing against Nike and Adidas. You're not going to win. So if they've got them in there, it's a very, very bad job. And I've had agencies, had Nike and Adidas, and I've picked up on it and said, look, what you guys doing? You know, you obviously clearly don't know what you're doing. So I class that as a good job. And when you're getting a return, when you're actually genuinely getting a return, when you're getting, like, for example, I think we get 2.5 conversion rate. And to us, that's a good return. You know, we're not spending, because our profit margins are quite good. That to me is an extremely good return. But when we're getting 0.5, it's not a good return, because you're spending more and you're spending a shed load of money. That means you're advertising the wrong audience. Or your website is not performing to the right level. It's slow, or you've got issues on your e-commerce store. So that just needs fixing.
When you're choosing people you work with, do you prefer to pick some full service agency that can do email, Google ads, Facebook, and everything else? Or do you work with professionals in every field that you'll choose best Facebook ad agency in UK, for example? Yeah,
so I like to spread it out because you can't be good at everything. So we do spread it out. Now, it might be a different case for different people, but in my experience, what I've seen in the past is spreading it out is extremely good. So we do email marketing in-house. We've just taken on Facebook in-house, and we still keep our Google advertising with the agency. But what I would also say, if you can afford it, and if you depending on what your agency is charging, then try and get everything in-house. Because an agency, yes, you pay them to do the job, and some agencies do their job good, but then sometimes the agency only spend 10 hours on your account a month, and you're paying £600-700. So then you might as well, that's just for Google. So then you've got Facebook to do, then you've got email marketing. So imagine if you could take someone in-house to do that. And that's what we're doing. We've got two people, one who does Facebook and email, and the other does like other kind of marketing, like content, SEO and stuff like that. And the next move will be Google. How do you hire? How do you find these talents? So there's a lot of people who say they can do everything. They can do it all. It's very untrue. So we look at it. I don't like to look at a CV because so many people can lie on a CV. I like to get to know the person. What's their hobbies? How do they react to certain things? And and we hire based on all that, and then we put them on a trial. We say, okay, prove yourself. So this guy proved himself. We took on. He designed really good, so we took on a designer, and he can then do email marketing. So that's the way we hire. And if they're not good, if they don't fit in well with the team, if they don't get on with jokes, so it's important for me to have banter in the office, because otherwise it's a very boring day. So if you can't handle a joke, then you shouldn't be in our team. If you can't handle stress, you shouldn't be in our team, because running an e-commerce store is very stressful. And if you can't handle that, don't work for me. Don't work for the company. But if you work for the company and you've got them attributes, then we're the type of company that likes to praise our employees. So we'll give extra time off. If they've used all their holiday, but they want an extra holiday, we give that back, because, you know, the effort they put into we don't also, I am not too fussed about if they've got the full set of skills or not. I'd rather have someone who doesn't have all the skills, but is less cocky. Yeah, the one thing is salespeople, for example. If you are the top salesman, but you're bad environment, you're bad for, you know, the company in the sense of the attitude.
Yes.
You just waste time. But you might get all the sales in, but to me, that's bad, because you bring in a bad vibe to the company, which then brings down everyone else, because you come in all cocky, throwing, you know, wrong jokes around. You think you're better than everyone else. I don't want that in the company as well. So if you get employees like that, you need to bin them. Even if they're your best employee, if they give you attitude over time, get rid.
That's interesting. But I mean, I totally agree. Like, if you already have a bigger team, like, this toxicity can spread quite big inside when you're working with somebody who's cocky with a bad attitude. You mentioned trial period. How long does it take usually?
So you have to analyze everything about them, how they react to certain things, and that can take up to 3 months or more. But sometimes you do get employees. We've had one employee we got rid in 2 weeks, because within the first week they got too comfortable, and then they started giving attitude. They thought they could give attitude. They're skipping time when I went away to see my suppliers. You know, they thought that other employees wouldn't, not dob them in, but say, look, Nick, and that's a loyal employee, because they're looking out for the business that they work for to grow themselves. So they're saying, look, she didn't really turn up. She skipped time. And so, you know, sometimes you can get rid of really quickly. Sometimes it takes a bit longer to understand the person, because they're not so open.
I see. How do you create a culture in ecom business?
That is a very difficult one.
I mean, you have a great beer in UK. I mean, we have better in Czech Republic, but beer can be a good part of the company culture in UK.
Yeah. So, you know, we try and, you know, give, like, you know, for example, Fridays, we try and, you know, order a pizza in. We try and, you know, relax a bit, like going out to the pub. We try and do certain things that don't involve work life. It's very important sometimes to separate yourselves from work. And even during work, we pay employees basically to go to the pub. And it's because you're giving that, you know, that the experience, you're giving them a good time. And that means they'll work a lot more harder for you long term, because they care about the company. They care about what the people they work for. And that's the culture you want to build. But it's a very hard one. Don't get me wrong, it's very challenging, because not everyone wants to be part of that. Some people just come in, want to do the job and go home.
I see. So do you have like strict work hours, or is it that they will come home and still working?
So when we take on employees, we say, look, you choose your time. So you can come at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, or 10 o'clock in the morning. But as long as you work a certain minimum hours, then that's fine.
Which is?
As long it's 8 hours normally.
8
okay.
Hours.
We do have people work longer, and if you you know, with the 8 hours, so you could start at 7 o'clock in the morning. But as long as if we've not got any meetings that you have to attend, then yes, we are very free on time, because it's about when it's comfortable for the person to come in. They might be an early bird, but sometimes an employee is very good, but there might be a late waker. So we try and fit around people as much as we can, but also allow the business to grow.
Okay, so let's start from the very start. So I want to start an ecom business, for example. Who is the first person I should hire? Is it customer service?
That's a difficult one. The first person you want to hire, I would say being able to do multiple things.
Okay.
I go back onto certain things, because For example, we had when I first started this business, I had a guy. He wasn't the best at everything. He wasn't intelligent in such as Facebook marketing and stuff like that. But he did a lot of my warehouse, but also did a customer support on emails. He didn't do it over the phone, but he did emails on live chat. So someone who's willing to do that is a great asset to have, because they then start knowing the business, and that also helps you out. And that helped out massively for me, is someone who be able to do more than one task.
I see. All right, that's a good tip. Usually what people say, hire somebody who will bring more revenue to the company. But in Ecom, I think it's a lot about the back office, which actually can bring a lot of money in the company because you're more effective in processes.
You could have the best marketing company in the world, and they bring you in shed loads of revenue. If you don't have the back office sorted, you're going to fail. So what's the point of having a guy when you first start in employing and getting someone to, employing them to do marketing, but they can't do nothing else? They can't do pick and pack. They can't do customer service. That leaves it all down to you. That leaves you can't go and build your relationships with your suppliers. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't go network. And so that's the advice I'd give. Make sure you can get someone who can handle warehousing, a bit customer service, and pay an agency to start off with to get your sales in. Then bring it all in-house.
Makes total sense. All right, Nicholas, I think it's slowly time to wrap this up. I have one last question for you, and then I will share my screen and tell people where can they sign up for more webinars. So, Nicholas, I know that this is quite out of the blue, but what are the top 3 things you would recommend to somebody who is currently running their e-commerce store?
Top 3 things. Be organized. Be organized is the top one. If you're running an e-commerce store, if you're not organized, you can run into a lot of trouble. Being organized is a lot of things. Being organized is meaning your accounts, meaning, everything down to your inventory. Just try and be organized as best as possible. Write down your tasks for the day. So the way I increase my productivity is by coming every morning. I write a list. Okay, I've got to do this today, and this is what's increased my productivity, because then you don't think, oh, what I've got to do, because you've got it on a list. So that's one big advice I can say is be organized. Make sure you can build a relationship with your supplier, because there's going to be one time when you can't pay an invoice. There's going to be that time when you can't pay an invoice. And if you've got a relationship with your supplier where you're willing to accept things and not accept things, and you can build that, then they'll more likely let you off on that payment. And that'll help your cash flow, it'll help your business. So build relationships, don't burn bridges. And just make sure you do your research on the software before you launch. If you haven't got a team to build a Magento store, don't go for Magento. But if Shopify doesn't do what you need to do, so research on every possible way on how you can build your e-commerce store to the most successful way using the best software and for your product. Because it's like for us, we can't use Shopify for our, for Kilpie, because we do Kilpie Club, where you get, we give members off 10% if they pay a yearly fee, and we can't do that. So if I didn't research that, I'd be with the wrong software. I'd upload all the products, and it'll be wrong. It won't work. So you wasted time.
I see. All right. So one of the good softwares to choose is, for example, ZapERP, right?
Yes. So obviously I do own some of it, but I've been through a lot of software, and it's been a massive headache for us. Choosing the right software, and I'm glad I actually genuinely found ZapERP, and now I'm working with them to build a great product for these e-commerce stores, and it would, just make sure you have the right software. Make sure you invest in the right software.
I mean, I will say it again, but it's a great decision by ZapERP team that they start working with you, because you're bringing extreme knowledge about this whole industry, which is crucial, and it can be like this unfair advantage compared to other software, right?
Yeah, 100%, because there's a lot of software out there, they're just developers. They have a great idea. Yeah, we're building inventory software, but they don't know the key things to how to build for e-commerce stores. And that's why we're not building all these other ERP features, is because yes, there's software that's better than us that can build better ERP system, but there's no software out there that really does e-commerce really well.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have a question from Saurabh, and that's actually a really good one. And he's asking, should one focus, or should we focus on the main product we sell, or should we sell different variety of products in ecom business, which will make us grow?
It depends. It really depends on what your product is.
Okay.
So I'm launching a fashion brand, and that fashion brand is eco-friendly. But we're launching a very, very small range. So like 2 pieces. So 2 pairs of leggings, 2 pairs of tops, because sometimes it's not better to have, huge range of products because you can't handle it. But then on the other hand, we run Kilpie, we run Ithas, we run Collective Fashion, and that has a huge amount of product range. So it generally depends on what you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to be competitive, or are you trying to build a new product? And if you're bringing out a jacket, that's going to be different. Doesn't mean you should have 5, 6, 7 different colors. Just focus on 2 or 3. That means your cash flow can be, cash flow's good, and so on. I hope that answers the question.
I think you do. I think you do. Yeah. All right. So I don't see any other questions, guys. If you have any other question, please let us know. But meanwhile, let me quickly share my screen. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So ZapERP.pitchground.com. It will take you to this beautiful landing page, which is titled E-commerce Ignite Bootcamp. Start, grow, and scale your e-com business with automation. ZapERP Inventory Management Simplified. Now, you can just fill in your email address here, and it will sign you up for all the talks we are doing this week and next week. So let's check the schedule. Today we talk about how you can grow your business grow your e-commerce business with Nicholas, and tomorrow we are talking about inventory management. Run your e-com store like a boss. So if you don't want to have the same experience as Nicholas had after the Christmas, when they needed to return 40,000, was it dollars or pounds?
Pounds.
All right, so I think it's like $45,000 or $47,000 worth of stock. Make sure that you will join tomorrow, because this will be for you. Then on Sunday, which is actually quite new for us because we usually do Monday to Friday, but why the hell not? On Sunday, we will do scaling your e-commerce business, hot tips to get your processes ready. So we talked about few. We talked about that you need to know your data, you need to have accounts in place, you need to know what software to use and so on. So this will be more in depth. So make sure that if you are growing your e-commerce store, or maybe you are helping your clients to do so, you will join on November 10th. November 11th, which is Monday, ZapERP is launching in-depth walkthrough and huge Q&A. So as usual, we'll walk you through the whole tool and we will answer all your questions. Usually these webinars are a little longer. It will take maybe somewhere around from 1 hour to 2 hours. Today's webinar was 2 hours. So make sure that you will join if you are considering ZapERP. And then there are more webinars which are product related on 14th and 15th. So how to use two-way e-commerce integration sync in ZapERP, and then sales and purchase management tricks in ZapERP. So once again, guys, ZapERP.pitchground.com. Make sure you will go there, you will sign up, and we'll send you all the notifications, replays, and all the fun stuff into email. So thanks everybody for joining. Nicholas, this was really, really insightful.
It was a pleasure to be able to come and join you guys and to share my experience with you guys.
Perfect. One last question. Let me check if we have something. Yeah, question from Fabrizio. We do run on PrestaShop. When will it be integrated?
PrestaShop is on the list to be integrated. So hopefully, within the next month or so, because it's important for us to build the core features and to then integrate into these other softwares like, WooCommerce, PrestaShop and stuff like that.
All right. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So thanks again, Nicolas. Thanks again, everybody, for
Thanks,
joining,
guys.
and we'll see each other in the next days.
Okay,
All right,
fantastic.
thank you.
Speak soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.